Looking back, it's funny. I grew up a metalhead, and I so identified with that music as a teenager. I used to bond with my buddies over Ozzy and Iron Maiden, Led Zeppelin, Yngwie, and Dio records. I remember we all agreed anything else sucked. And boy, did we have complete tunnel vision. And Michael Jackson and the Beatles were considered the enemy, and we thought, MTV was just for cream puffs. Well, except for Headbangers Ball. That was cool and acceptable. Well, I guess getting a girlfriend and finally starting to travel and eventually moving away to college expands your horizons somewhat. I'd never even been on a plane until I was 21 years old, and my first girlfriend in college, Shelley, she was a major lover of music. And she invited me to go see her in New Hampshire for the summer. So when we were there, we went to go see David Bowie, who I totally didn't get. I thought he was just weird and strange, and I remember like his Spiders from Mars and all that stuff. And the only reason I agreed to go was because Joe Satriani was opening up. That made it okay. And it was at Foxborough Stadium in New Jersey, and the show was great. And David Bowie's band was amazing, put on a spectacular show. And I really changed a lot of my perceptions, just that one event. And while we were dating and I was getting settled into college, I had experience after experience like this. And it really changed my life. I remember my freshman year hearing over and over about this guitar player named Clint Strong and this drummer named Keith Carlock. Clint kept having clinics on campus, and I finally skipped class so I could go see one of them. And the rhythm section was this guy Keith Carlock on drums and another guy named John Button on bass. And it was so slamming after the clinic, I got both Keith and John's numbers and decided then and there I'd have them play on a demo of some songs I had written. There was an engineer in town that used to work with a band I looked up to called David Garza and the Love Beads. His name was Terry Slimmons. He had fixed my guitar amp, and afterwards, taking me to a recording studio his neighbor and friend, Eric Delgar, was just starting called Real Time Audio. I met Eric and decided what a perfect place to record my demo. I'd written these 3 songs, an instrumental guitar demo called Summertime, and just a couple of cheesy ballads I was eager to record because I wanted to try and sing. I'd never sang before, but I was getting a degree in music, and I figured, I got good pitch. It couldn't be that hard, so I figured, what the hell, I can do this. And I remember my sister looking at me like I was crazy when I told her I was going to do this. And Summertime was the first time I'd ever professionally recorded something. At least it was professional to me. I had a 4-track, and that was about it before that. I've always had an ear for good drummers since I grew up listening to Steve Gadd and Lenny White. I remember the first time I heard Keith, he just had this great sounding DW drum set. And the way his snare would just pop when he hit it, it just pulled you in. Well, things didn't work out so well with Shelley, and I ended up writing a song called I'll Find You. And I was down in Dallas, and I had found a electric sitar at a store called Eugene's Music and Pawn. I didn't even have the money for it, but I thought the thing was so cool. I just went ahead, wrote him a check for it, and went home and put everything I had in the bank to cover it. And I just had to write a song with this thing. I grew up listening to Ravi Shankar, and it just seemed like a wonderful opportunity to try and figure out how to use a sitar on one of my own songs. We had Keith play on all 4 of the original songs on my first demo, and I knew he'd be a guy that would be going places, and he sure has. Shortly after leaving school, he went to New York, and the next thing you know, he was playing with Steely Dan, Sting, and now James Taylor. Such a great player, and so much of that happens here.
you, I feel you here next to me. I want you, I need you, I wish you were here with me. I want you, I miss you.
Candy was a song I wrote for this wonderful ice skater I met in college at the pool in the summer. For me, it was love at first sight, and the song just kind of came to me. It was like the first time I recorded background vocals, which is something I love. I always liked the Beach Boys and their lush vocal arrangements, and this was my first attempt at something like that. I also had my old blackface twin reverb and an Echoplex. Me and all my guitar friends at this point were really digging a lot of this guitar player from Austin, Texas named Eric Johnson, who had just wonderful guitar tone, and you couldn't help but be influenced by it. It just kind of raised the bar for all of us guitarists at the time. Another thing I really remember about this tune is how much I liked Keith's snare sound at the end.
The day you were born, all the flowers bloomed. The birds were singing and the sky was blue. The sun rose high and it filled the sky. Rivers flowed and touched the tides. I followed a star that fell from above. It led me to you. Stars in the sky, I'll take down two. One for me and baby, one for you. Their light will shine for eternity, for all to see what you mean to me. This is my dream and it starts with you. I close my eyes and it feels so good. To never wake, you know, is fine with me. Candy, will you walk with me? Will you talk to me? Will you be with me? Candy, when I sing to you, the sky turns blue and the flowers bloom. The sun rose high and it filled the sky. Rivers flowed and touched the tides. I followed a star that fell from above. It led me to you. Candy, will you walk with me? Will you talk to me? Will you be with me? Candy, when I sing to you, the sky turns blue and the flowers bloom. Candy, will you walk with me? Will you talk to me? Will you be with me? Candy, when I sing to you, the sky turns blue and the flowers bloom. Candy, will you walk with me? Will you talk to me? Will you be with me? Sing to you, the sky turns blue and the flowers turn. The sky and me, will you walk to me? Will you talk to me? Will you be with me?
I've always been a massive fan of the classical guitar. and specifically the work of Manuel Barreto, an amazing guitarist from Cuba. I was accepted to music school based on my performance of this piece, Etude No. 1 by Villa Lobos. I had an album with Manuel Barreto playing this piece, and I used to practice it for hours and hours. For my audition to college, I'd also played an arrangement of the Beatles tune Yesterday I did for jazz guitar. Chet Atkins was also a major influence on me, and this was kind of a tip of my hat to him. I was a member of the Dallas Classical Guitar Society in 1993, and I got to meet Chet at our banquet and auction. It was a big deal to me, and what was fun about it was I had taken Candy the Ice Skater with me, the girl I'd written the song about. Chet had a real eye for the ladies, and like any true-blooded American male, I remember how much he liked her. I still have a great picture of the two of them engaged in conversation together. When we watched him play earlier that evening, she'd gotten a little teared up and was mentioning to me that something in his playing had reminded me of the song I had written for her. This was a nice indirect compliment, and I'll never forget that. I was very sad when he passed away in 2001. At the time, I was listening to so much Chet Atkins and Eric Johnson and Clint Strong and all these great country guitar players, I thought I'd take my own stab at it. Hell, I had a Fender Stratocaster and a twin reverb. figured it'd be worth a try. And this is a little country guitar tune I had done with some random steel guitar player we managed to find in Denton, Texas. Another drummer that was making waves in North Texas at the time was this guy named Earl Harvin. He was performing with this band Tin Hands when I first saw him, and it was crazy. His drum set was constantly moving forward where it was just about to fall off the riser, and he would just grab pieces of it, readjust, and the show just went on. One night in Austin, I was so convinced that the drums were just going to fall off the riser, but he just kept pulling them back and doing his thing. You couldn't help but be pulled in by his sense of timing and phrasing, and it seemed so effortless and lyrical for a drummer. I was never a jazz musician, but I sure loved the music, and I befriended a lot of jazz musicians. And one that ended up becoming a great friend was Jeff Vieklowski, a saxophone player that was from my hometown in Houston. He had attended HSPVA, the High School for the Performing and Visual Arts, and he exposed me to Cannonball Adderley and John Coltrane and Charlie Parker and Michael Brecker, and especially Sonny Rollins. He loved Sonny Rollins. And Sonny was real into calypso and soca and a lot of island-influenced music. Jeff was over one day and he wanted to jam, and he showed me this chord progression from a Sonny Rollins tune, and we played it together. After he left, I stayed in my apartment and messed around with that progression for a couple of hours and ended up writing this song together again. And I liked the tune so much, I went ahead and called Earl Harvin and John Button, and I got a hold of the head of the percussion department, Dr. Shatroma, and found a steel drum player and put together a session and ended up recording the thing. And I was real happy with the results of it. And the drummer I was playing with at the time, a guy named Eric Grajo, came by and said, hey, they're having this contest where you can get one of your songs on a CD called Denton Discoveries, and it'll offer some great exposure for our music. So we ended up making it onto the CD, and we had just a few weeks to get the band together. And it was kind of the first incarnation of Riddle Me This, my first band in college.
Sometimes at night when I'm all alone, I think of you all the time. I take a walk alone across the shore. I wonder how I can make you mine. I see the moon and it glares back at me. How in life could there be more? I see this as my path to you, a love so strange.